Welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast with your hosts, Kathy Brewer and Terry Huberman.
Hello there, and welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast. I'm Terry Huberman.
And I am your co-host, Kathy Groover, and we are starting this episode the way we always do with an angel card. And speaking of angels, we have Mark Lakowski back.
Yay!
We had so much fun with him. We said, why don't you stay and do a second one? And yes, I was remiss in asking Mark what he did during our first guest spot. So Mark, give us just a quick rundown of what all those initials behind your name mean.
All of well, I'm a certified therapeutic coach. I'm a master clinical hypnotherapist, and I am also a master practitioner of neurolinguistic psychology and humanistic neurolinguistics programming. Actually, I think I switched that around a bit, but so that's all of those fun, fancy letters. But in a nutshell, what that basically means is I help people.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I also help people. Different initials, but we also help people.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. So the angel card for the day, and they never disappoint. Expansiveness. And it's an angel floating away in a hot air balloon, which is one of my favorite visualizations. I do a hot air balloon visualization with people. And it says, open upwards and outwards, rise above your current context, widen your perspective, and let your life be more inclusive. Keep growing and unfolding.
Love that.
Yeah.
Unfolding,
growing and unfolding. Expansiveness, right? So in a previous episode, we talked about purification, and now we're talking about expansiveness. Thoughts on expansiveness?
Nobody's jumping in. I'll jump in. I wanted to give
Mark. Terry, jump.
No, go ahead.
I'll just jump. I didn't know if Mark wanted to start.
No, go ahead.
As a guest, manners and stuff like that. Sometimes I have them. It's actually a challenge, I think, expansiveness, because in order to have the expansiveness, there has to be a flow of energy coming through it. I don't feel, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't want to say I'm perfect and all knowing, but when I tap into the energy of what expansiveness is there has to be something already existing, which means either something is coming in or something that has already been maybe pushed down is already there. So there has to be something already there. And so expansiveness is like energetically amplification. So what is being amplified, right? If we want to make this super simple, we can just say good or bad, right? So what is either already there or what is coming in that's good or bad that can be expanded upon or amplified? It's the expansion, I think, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think, but I think it's the expansion that causes the actual change. So first you have the clearing or you have the purification, and then you have the integration, because I think that needs to happen first, the integration and then the expansion. Again, I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like energetically the process is to me. So you can't have expansion without something existing or coming in. So that's what that feels like to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's still bouncing around my brain.
Yeah. So, like, for example, let's say let's talk prosperity. Like let's make this, I'm going to try and make this really simple. Prosperity. Let's say you have a mindset of scarcity. In order to be prosperous, you have to have an abundant mindset, right? So you clean out and you clear out the scarcity. So now you have to integrate like the old you with the new you, which is from scarcity to abundance. So you work on that, and now all of a sudden abundance exists, but you can expand upon it.
Sure.
Right. So now it's like, for example, in improv, have you guys done improv at all? Like improv comedy?
Not at all.
No. Okay. Obviously, I'm not talking to theater people, obviously, but it's like the yes and.
Yes and.
The yes and rule. That's what is coming to mind.
Yeah.
Energetically. of like what expansion is. It's like, I'm not denying you. What you're saying is true. And I'm going to add information on top of that to make it bigger and carry on the scene and the storyline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And
It
I
is.
was thinking about it as, you get the seed of something and then it grows and expands, right? You
Yes.
have a balloon that is empty and you expand it out. I'm gonna cough. All right, you keep talking, Mark.
Thanks for the warning.
Yes, and what Kathy was continuing to say before her cough started to interrupt was you have a balloon and it's going to expand through the air of your lungs. And are you ready, Kathy? Take it away.
Yeah, you could add something to it, which makes it get bigger, right? It makes it take up more space.
Right.
And I think about like the great expanse, right? Means a tract of land that is just huge and like looking to be unending. And when we expand ourselves out, we can hold more, we can reach more, we can influence more. So that expansiveness to me is that growth. It is that taking up more space, time, energy, all of those things. So I'm pro expansiveness. I think it sounds pretty good. So often we play it small.
Yes.
We minimize our achievements. We minimize our joy. We live life contracted because we don't want to upset anybody and we don't want to step on anybody's toes and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and we don't want to. And if we take that and expand out and live our life fully and unapologetically, then more good things are going to come to us. So this was sort of a theme of my last couple of days of this. I will not live I will not live, small. I don't want to have to apologize for existing. And I see so many, especially women, do that where, you bump into them and they go, I'm sorry. And it's like, but you didn't do anything. You're just existing. Right. Why are you minimizing yourself? Why are we contracting to disappear? I see so many girls out in these beautiful outfits, often, at the Magic Castle walking around, and they're kind of doing this. They're like all hunched in because they don't want to be seen, right? They're embarrassed about how they look in the outfit. And those are the ones I go up to and I go, you look beautiful. And they go, thank you. And this expansion happens, right? There's a pride in that, and not like a bad pride, but there's like pride in that and an acceptance of self in that expansiveness. So that's what kind of came to me with thinking about that word.
And who are you serving by playing small? Least of all yourself. And I think when we give ourselves permission to shine, it allows other people to feel like, you know what, I can shine too in my own way.
Yeah. And if you're surrounded by people who are pissed off that you're shining, you're so lucky. I wish I had your life. And these people that snipe about, you have it so much better than me or whatever their deal is, those aren't the people that you should be playing to.
No, and they don't see what goes on behind the curtain backstage that got you into the spotlight, so to speak.
Yeah, there's this beautiful cartoon. I love it. It's from the backstage area, and it's stairs leading up to the stage. And there's a guy on stage spinning plates. And backstage, you see all these shattered and broken plates leading up the stairs to get him to the stage.
I love that.
Such a brilliant cartoon.
It's so
because
true.
It's like you don't see the work that goes into it. Yeah. You don't see the hours of rehearsal and the to make a Magic Castle joke. The guys are like, "This is my lost childhood that I could shuffle this cards a certain way." You don't see all the work that goes into that kind of artistry and that kind of expansion, right?
Yeah.
So when we take that full deep breath, our lungs expand, and we can hold more, and we can give more, and we just live life more fully. So that's expansiveness to me.
Well, and to your point about those shattered plates on the ground, and Terry, to your point about needing that contrast, something that I do with my clients a lot is I call it the Christmas Carol process. It's really not. It's basically timeline therapy, but I need them to see the perspective of where they've been, so that they can stand on top of that and gain that new learning and understanding of what was, who they are, what happened, so they know where they want to go. And when they can understand that new perspective, they can't ever see anything the same way ever again. And so it creates that chain reaction from that moment in time all the way through into their future self. So then they can expand as they come through and progress back and then future based. I know I'm using therapeutic terms here, but that way, when they get back to that starting point, they have expanded and can continue to expand based on that contrast and those broken plates.
Well, and we also forget where we've come from, right? This is what I love about the SUD scale. The SUD scale is on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? And I have more medical massage clients who, they'll come in the first time and they'll be like, yeah, my pain's at an 8. I had this one woman in particular, she couldn't even walk around Trader Joe's without being in so much pain. And so it would take her about an hour and a half to get through the store because she'd have to stop and lean on the cart for 5 minutes till her back felt better. Then she could go a couple feet. She'd have to stop and lean. And her pain was like at an 8 or 9 all the time. And I kept working with her and kept working with her and kept working with her. And finally one day she's like, Kathy, I am so effing frustrated. And I said, why? Thinking, oh, how could you backslide from that? Right. And she goes, I could only play basketball with my son for 10 minutes before my back hurt. And I went, hang on. She said, what? And I said, only 10 minutes of basketball. She goes, yeah, that sucks. And I said, let me go back through my notes. Remember when you couldn't walk around Trader Joe's without leaning on the cart every 5 minutes? And she went, oh my God. And I said, this is why we take notes. And this is why we have that subscale. I said, because does it seem like it sucks? You can only play basketball for 10 minutes. Yeah, but 3 months ago, you couldn't walk around Trader Joe's, let alone pick up a basketball. And so sometimes we have to look at that contrast, to your point, Mark. We have to see where we came from to acknowledge the expansiveness and the successes that we've had now.
Yeah, something I do similar to with my clients is close as we're kind of gearing towards the end of what we're doing together. I go through a percentage scale with them, and I take out my notes from our discovery call consultation, and I go through it point by point, and I literally ask them, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much better has this gotten? And we go down, and they're like, by the end of it, they're like, wow, there is improvement, either in a small amount or a large amount, but there is always improvement. And they're not going to notice that unless we talk about it.
Yeah. Unless you know where you came from.
Because they have a new perspective.
Yeah.
In the moment now.
Without perspective, you just don't know, you can't keep track of it. But it's really interesting because what was coming to mind to me when you were talking about the growth and your timeline therapy was new level, new devil. Right? I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but as soon as you expand into something, you hold it for a bit, that holding becomes integration. And then guess what happens? You contract again, and then you got to work through something again. So it's like the law of cycles, right? And the law of change that occurs. And you can't have that without expansion. So you need expansion in order to evolve, to soul evolution and in order to evolve your soul. So that's why it's like, it's bittersweet, right? So that's why, it just goes to show that energy is always moving, whether it feels good or whether it feels bad. It's temporary. Everything is temporary. Law of cycles, law of change. That's just the way it is. So with expansion comes growth, which is awesome. And then it takes you to another level of evolution that you then have to, work through, and then you start all over again. And that's what awakening is. Right? Awakening, a lot of people think awakening is a one-time deal. It's not. It's a consistent.
We wake up every morning.
Right? Over and over.
Yeah.
So, expansion leads to awakening.
Yeah. 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 Boy, I can't say anything more than that.
No.
Yeah. Awesome. What a beautiful another episode. I love this. Mark, where can people find you? Social media, website, all that good stuff.
You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook is Mark D. Lukowski. Instagram is hypnotherapist_Mark. And my website at mdlhealingartistry.com.
Yay. And I am Kathy Groover. I can be reached at kathygruver.coach.
And I'm Terry Huberman. You can catch me at terryhuberman.com. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode of the Intentional Awakening podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Bye.